Hello guys, we'll be back from the previous lecture, and we just started our food app mobile application in Android Studio. We created our first Android application in Android Studio, and we saw some different areas, some different folders which we are going to be interacting with. Now, to continue in this lecture, we are going to dive in and we see how we are going to be able to try to fetch this JSON API list into our mobile application. Now, let us try our luck and we see what we're going to do. So, come here on main activity class under this package name, com.menu.foodapp.yugi.foodapp.menu. Make sure that you are inside this class main activity. Then press Ctrl and then you try to move the cursor towards this word activity main. They will highlight it and then left click on it. When you left click on it, you will be able to navigate onto the layout and you see how the layout is structured. Now, since we are going to be dealing with lists, it means that we have to choose any widget from these ones, any component from these ones, which is going to be able to cater for lists. I think you know which kind of widget we are going to choose, if at all you've ever seen this. Initially, Android was using list views, but later on, they brought what we call recycler views, because list views had some limitations. But for a recycler view, it is an improved list view which caters for most of functionalities. And I would suggest you guys to search for differences between a list view and recycler view, and why should a person go in for a recycler view. So let us try to insert our recycler view. You can press here and you drag it onto the layout. So when you drag it onto the layout, it will try to load, as you see. So this is our Android recycler view, but it's not nice, and you see here down they are still resolving the recycler view. Let us try to wait for it a bit. Now it has done resolving. Now you see this is our recycler view. But you see it's not a bit nice, because I see here a text view and the recycler view is not resized very well. So you come down here where you see design and text, try to go to text and you see the code behind. So when we try to read our code, it is wrapped inside, or our recycler view and text view is wrapped inside a constraint layout. And this constraint layout has its own properties. So for our case, we're not going to use a constraint layout. Let us use a linear layout. Try to wrap this and then you type in linear layout. So when you are using a linear layout, you have to ensure that you add what we call orientation. So the orientation we're going to use, let us use vertical. So if you use vertical, all the components under the linear layout are going to be ordered vertically. So let us remove this text view because we don't need it, and we just leave our recycler view. So when you click here on the recycler view, you see it's not even measuring the whole screen. It's still fixed at a certain size. When you try to look here on the width and the height, layout width and the height of recycler view, it's given in numbers, but I would suggest us to give it match parent. It's going to match the width from the start to last, and it's also going to use match parent on the height. It's going to match from the top to last. Or we can use wrap content. Wrap content means that it will wrap the contents inside the recycler view according to the number of items which are going to be retrieved from the JSON API. So after doing this, we have to ensure that we add the ID onto the recycler view, because this ID is going to be referred in the main activity class when we are going to initialize this recycler view. So let us call it RV list, or let us call it RV food menu. So let us go back to our main activity. So when we go back to our main activity, we have to first declare the RecyclerView, and we call it RV food menu. Then you terminate, and then you come inside here, the onCreate method. This is the onCreate method, and I told you about it. Whatever you want to be visible on the screen, or whatever you want to be visible on an activity, has to be called back in the onCreate method. So we have to initialize the RecyclerView in the onCreate method. We say food menu is equal to, then we cast the RecyclerView, and then we say find view by ID, r.id dot, then we type in rv food menu, the name which we've given it, or the ID which we assigned it. So after doing this, what are we going to do next? Since we are having this list, the JSON list of items, the next thing we are going to do is to create what we call a model class. What is a model class? A model class, or an object class, this is the type of class, in simple terms, which is going to match all these object names. We are going to match all these object names for the list which is retrieved, and we ensure that whatever list comes, it comes with that specified name matched. I don't know if I'm clear with that. Let me try to do it, and we see if the explanation comes more clearer. So to do our object class or a model class, let us try to be organized, and we create another package name. You're going to come here and you right click on Java, you come to new, then you click on the package, and then you click OK. Make sure that it's app/source/main, and then you click OK, and we call it model. So they will add the package name down here. So right click on the package name, and then you come here to new, and then you create a Java class. We are going to call it food model. So after creating this class food model, we are going to declare whatever objects we see in this list. What objects do we see in this list? There is menu ID, there is food name, there is also the price. How many are they? 1, 2, 3. There are only 3. So we are going to ensure that we declare all these 3 items in the list. We are going to declare all these items in our class. So we are going to say here private string. You have to make sure that for the purposes of simplicity, you write the exact name which is here, so that we ensure that deserialization of the JSON API is successful. So let me first explain this. When we try to create this JSON API, I think you remember what we did in the last lecture. This API you see here is JSON serialized. Serialized is something which contains data, but this data is hidden. So to make sure that you unhide this data, you have to do what we call deserialization. So this class model is going to help us in deserialization to make sure that we get all these items, because when someone sees this, a user, for example, a normal user cannot understand this. So we have to deserialize this JSON API to the user so that he understands what exact information is in the JSON API. I think we are clear now. So let me try to get this name menu ID, and I copy it here. I terminate, and then I also say, let me copy this for the purposes of saving time. Private string, food name. You make sure that the same name. Also, let me copy this for purposes of saving time, and I'm going to say the price. We write the price also here, paste it there. So we are done with the model class. So these 3 items you see here are the ones which are going to help us in this realization of this JSON. So in other words, it's going to match whatever item you see here into our mobile application. So after doing this, there is what we call getters and setters. We have to generate the getters. The getters are the ones which are going to get the data from the JSON API, and then the setters are the ones which are going to set the data inside our mobile application, as you're going to see. So we have to create the getters and setters. You are going to right click here, and then you go to generate. You click on generate, and then you say getter and setter, and then you press shift, and then plus the arrow, and you select all the items, and then you click OK. When you click OK, these will be the getters and setters. For example, here this first method, you see it's returning, it's a string method, and it returns a certain value. So it's getting the menu ID, and at the same time we set the menu ID. We get the food name, and then we set the food name. We get the price, and then we set the price. So that's why they are called getters and setters, as we are going to see. So after doing this, we are done now with our food module. Let us create another step, and this step is going to be our item layout. This item layout is going to enable us to design how our items are going to be looking in the list, because we've made this list, but this list is not customized in a way which we want. We haven't yet seen how the list is going to be and how the items are going to be arranged. So for this case, we come here under res, you open layout, you right click on layout, and you create a new layout resource file. So let us call it item food. Press OK, then they'll create another layout. After creating this layout, let us go to text. We change this one to linear layout. Let's change it to linear layout. Let me try to indent it very well. After doing this, don't forget to ensure that the orientation is there. Let us put vertical, and we arrange our items vertically. Now we are going to design. We are going to start designing our linear layout. So we are going to add, in our design, we are going to add what we call a card view for the purposes of making it to look nice. Let us look for a card view. I think it's down here. Just drag it and drop it down. So it's going to resolve. It's going to take some time. So it's now done. It's now done to resolve. So when we come back here and we check, you will see the card view. It's already here. So it's matching parent the whole of the screen, and the width is matching parent and the height is matching parent. So let us try to wrap the parent. So inside, we want to insert items inside this card view. And how are we going to do that? We are going to first open this, and we close like this, and then you make sure that it gives us a provision of entering items. So let me press Ctrl Z. There are two ways of closing a widget. You can either close it like this in case when you don't need anything to be put inside it, or in case when you don't want to wrap anything inside it, or you can close it this way. And when you close it this way, it means that you are going to add in some items under it. So let us add a linear layout for the purposes of being organized, and going to give it match parent the width and wrap content. We give it our orientation. Let us give it vertical. So after giving it vertical, let us also change this to wrap content. Let us try to design our card view again. Let us try to add in some properties. We are going to give it a margin. Let's give it a margin of 6 dp. Let us also do what? Let us also try to add in alright, let us add a corner radius. Let's add the corner radius. let's give it to DP, and we add what we call an elevation. Make sure that you write this up, elevation, and for DP, and that's enough. Inside here, let us come back in the layout, because here they are saying there are no children, no background, no ID, blah blah. So let us try to add in some elements. We add in a text view. We are going to match. We are going to match parent, and here the height we are going to wrap, and give it a text. Let's call it the ID. After doing that, so we are also going to copy this, and we add another one. Since our API is having food name, we add here food name, and we also do have the price. Let us copy this, and we add the price, food price. But I think you see how this thing is designed. It's not somehow good, and it's not that amazing. It's not that amazing. Let us try to make it more clearer. Let us wrap again inside. This logic is a bit nice, so you have to be very nervous. Remember, initially we made our items to be vertically. Now we are going to align them horizontally. So it's like a game. I think you've ever played a game. So let us try to align them horizontally. So this is another linear layout. Let us try to add in another one with a horizontal. So we are going to cut all these items here, and we put them under here. So when we put them under here, you see it's bringing something which is not good. Let us try to change this to wrap content, and we copy this and also change this to wrap content, and also change this to wrap content. So you see now they are in a horizontal way, and which is what we are trying to chase for. So let us try to add in some margin, layout margin, and we give it like a 4dp, and we copy also this, and we paste it here. We also copy this, we paste it there. So it's somehow amazing. Let us try to add in a padding in the card view, and try to make it at least bigger. 8dp, is it enough? Let us try, and we say 18. How is 18? Let us try 30. Let us try 50. I think 50 will work out. Remember, this thing is matching, so you see it's a bit nice. It's a bit what? Nice. So let us try to make it 80. So even inside here we can increase on the margin. Let's say 9, and also here 9, and also here 9. Now let us add in some amazing colors. We can come here and we say text color, give it color primary, which is blue. We can come here and we also give this one text color. You can put a hash and a 00, 3 zeros, and you come here, you can be able to change the color to one of your choice. Let me change it to that. You can also add in a style to make it more nice, make it bold. And the food price, let us also give it a color. Let us give it a color. I think this one we can give it black, and we give it a style. So designing depends on you, and depends on how you want your application to look. So for me, I'm not a good designer, but you can give it a time and you try to design your application to be fascinating or amazing. So let us also add some IDs. You can just type ID and then press enter. You add that, and then let us call this ID txt, and we add another ID here. You can say ID food name txt. Let us also add another id here. We're going to say food price txt. Well, then we are done. So this customized item food is going to come and sit on top of this recycler view, and it's going to loop itself, since these items are many, to create our amazing list. So what is next? The next step is to create another class called the ViewModel. We are going to create another class called the View. I've said the ViewModel, I'm sorry about that. We are going to create another class called the ViewHolder. It's not the ViewModel, it's called the ViewHolder. So the ViewHolder, let us come here and we right click here and click new, and then we add the package, click OK, and then you type in ViewHolder where your ViewHolder classes will be located. So it's created here, we right click on it, and then we create a Java class. Let us call it food ViewHolder, and then press enter. So how does a ViewHolder looks like? If you are new to it, then you just know about this. Let us get to it and we see how its syntax is. So we are going to say food ViewHolder extends RecyclerView dot ViewHolder. After doing this, you see there is this red line. There is a shortcut for this. If you want to resolve this, it means that the class is demanding something. When you extend something like RecyclerView, the RecyclerView in this case is a class dot ViewHolder. This dot ViewHolder sometimes might be a variable, or sometimes it might be a method. So when you're extending something, most of the times they tend to you have to inherit what is there. So that's why it's causing this problem. So let us right click here and we try to generate. Should we go to generate? Okay, let's go to generate and we go to delegate methods and we try to add this and we see, wow, this is not going to work for us. Let us come back, we generate, we go to override methods. I also don't see anything here. I don't see anything here. Let me try to copy this code here. Please allow me. Let me copy this code here and I paste it here. I'm going to explain it. So after pasting this code here, let me try to change this. Copy this to food ViewHolder. So let us deal with this first. This is what we call a constructor. This is what we call a constructor. So a constructor enables us to access, enables us this class to be accessible in another class, something like that, and as well as passing values from one class to another. So let us try to also resolve this red things. So when you try to put here your cursor, you press Ctrl space, and then they will show you alternatives. You press enter, and then this one you can also press Ctrl space, or you can press that one they said Alt enter. But if it disappears, you can press Ctrl space and then press enter, something like that. For these text views, we are also going to need one, and as well as this view root, we are going to need one. So let us press Alt enter, and then we resolve all these text views. We are going to need them. We are going to need them. Now, after doing this, we have to connect this item food to the view holder. So the view holder is the one which holds this item view. So let us assign whatever text view you see here in the view holder. Let us copy this ID. We go back in our view holder here, press here, and then let us make this first text view and ID text. You have to come down here also in the constructor, and then you declare it there, text view, And then here we say item view dot find view by ID. Here it changes because it's not the context of app compat. If it was app compat, here we would have said find view by ID, but to find the view by ID here, you have to first pass through the item view dot find view by ID. So r dot ID, then we paste the there. So this one is say alt enter. We have to press alt enter to enable it. Let us go and copy also this one, and we put it there in the find view by holder. And now we are done with the whole class. I have paused the video and I also inserted this. I've guessed now you've also known how to declare them. Make sure that whatever item you declare here, which is going to access the data, is declared inside our food view holder like this. So then we are done. I didn't explain this public view route. This view route is going to enable us to make actions onto the item in the list, as we shall be seeing in the future. Now we are left with one thing, and this one thing is what we call the adapter. The adapter comes in and joins this view holder, at the same time joins this food menu, and then it adds them together to wait for an internet connection, or to wait for an asynchronous connection. Asynchronous connection, I mean by the data which is going to be accessed from the REST API. So this is our REST API. The REST API is something which is from the web, for simplicity. So let us create our adapter here. Let us right click here, and we also create for the package. We create a package name for the adapter. We click OK. Let us name it adapter. So inside the adapter, we right click here and we create a Java class, and we call it food. Let us call it food adapter. Food adapter. So after creating our adapter, we are going to extends RecyclerView dot adapter. So when you write that adapter, I think you see something here. Between these two arrows, there is VH. VH means a view holder. So a view holder is demanded here. So you write dot adapter, and then you open these two arrows. Then inside the two arrows, you write the name of the view holder. So our view holder is food view holder. So after doing this, they will still show us the red line. So this red line is demanding for something. When you put a cursor here, you can see a message: class food adapter must either be declared abstract or implement abstract method on create view holder method. So it demands these abstract methods, as I told you previously. So let us right click here, and we go to generate, we go to override methods. I think these are not the ones. Yeah, they are there. There is this one, there is Unbind View, there is Unbind Viewholder, another one. There's also, but this one is a bit confusing. Let me try to right click again, and I come to generate, and on these two methods, override and implement methods, is where you find those things. So these are the ones which you are looking for. We want this method on create view holder, we want on bind view holder, and we want get item count. So you select all of them and press enter. So after pressing enter, then the error will diminish. So meaning that these were the methods which were demanded, and each of these methods, it has a functionality. It does. Now, first and foremost, let me try to explain briefly what each method does. On create view holder method, this one enables us to declare this food item. In other words, in the adapter, where is our adapter? In the adapter here, this is whereby we try to connect this food item to the adapter to ensure that the adapter is now holding the food item. Then on bind view holder, in this method, this is whereby we set whatever item is in the food item. We set onto these items the values which are got from the internet or from the RESTful website, like this JSON API we're having here. So in this method, so make sure that you write it down for simplicity. Unbind Viewholder method, it helps us to bind. Binding means to attach something or to assign something like that onto a certain element. Then finally, now we are left with this last one, GetItemCount. For GetItemCount, it counts the number of items in the list. For it, its functionality is to check whether they are existing items or they are null items. So that's an overview, or that is the basic explanation onto these three methods in the adapter. And there are so other methods in the adapter. I think you saw them in the other @override method. There are so many, but these ones are the basic ones, and they are the initial ones to begin with, if at all you want to learn a lot. So now let us try to add the features which are needed to complete our adapter. Let us declare our item list, private list, and then we insert here our model, food model. You press control space, and then it imports itself here up, and then we call it item list. And then we also declare our context, private context C. So after declaring this, we now generate our constructor. Right click here in the space and then generate constructor. You select all of them, so you press enter. So this is our constructor which is created. I think now this is the second time when you are seeing it. We first created it here in the food view holder. This is also a constructor with some items here. Let us go back in the adapter. Then after doing that, let us move to our onCreate view holder. Now I'm going to copy this code here, and then I'm going to explain it. Don't worry. Let me copy this code for the purposes of saving time, and I paste it here down. Let me try to resolve it. Put here the cursor, control space, enter. Put here the cursor, control space, enter. Put here control space, enter. And then we first leave the rest. So we are going to declare this view, layout view, layout inflator. Layout inflator, it means that it's going to inflate the layout. I think you've ever heard about the word inflating. Like for example, a person can say that boy inflated that balloon. So inflating is to insert something inside something. So we are going to inflate our layout, and we attach it with we are going to attach it with let me see, is this the correct thing to, I think this R has to be imported in the other way around. Yeah, let me press alt enter. R.layout. Now here we have to look for the item food, this one, because I told you that the purpose of this method onCreate view holder is to attach this item layout. So we have attached it here, and then we /parent. This is another parameter needed, and we assign here false. So after finishing that, then here down, you come down here and you declare or you initialize the view holder class. For our case, the view holder class we are having is food view holder. You come here and write food view holder, and then here you write also food view holder for those who know how to declare. And then here you write the context. Since we declared our context as C, we have to write also here C, and that's done. So we are done with this method. We are done to enable the attachment of the item food inside the onCreate view holder. So let us move to the Unbind Viewholder. Since I told you that in this folder, sorry, this is not a folder, I'm sorry about that. Let us go in Unbind Viewholder. In this method, we are going to be enabled to bind the items which are inside this item food. For example, the ID, the food name, and the price. We are going to attach or to assign what is going to be there in this method. So let me go to this code and I try to copy this code and I put it down here for the purposes of saving time. So I'm going to change this one to food model, and I'm going to first wrap these guys. Let me first comment this one. So let me first explain this line. Food model, since this is our model class and it contains all the objects which are going to come, and we made sure that we named them the same spellings for this JSON API for the purposes of deserialization. So we declare it here and we give it the name SR, which is equal to this item list. This item list, we attached food model onto this list, meaning that whatever is going to come in this list is going to be having these three names, something like that. So, and then after doing this, we add .get position. We are going to get whatever position of this item. So this is going to be position 0, because when we are counting in computer science, we begin at 0. This is going to be position 1, and this is going to be position 2, this one 2, and this is going to be 3, this one is going to be 3, 4, and so on, something like that. So we are going to assign whatever element comes according to the position, and that's why you see here in the parameters of the Unbind Viewholder there is what we call food Viewholder, the holder name, and then the int position. They declare the position. So this position is the one which caters for the position on each and every item. So let us try to attach these items. Remember, in this food Viewholder we already declared these text views here. So we are going to call one by one and we set the text which is going to sit into this. So initially I made these text views with a placeholder of these words, ID, food name, food price, but these are going to change dynamically. So to change dynamically is by setting it right away from this method, something like this. So we are going to say holder dot. If the moment you set dot, they are going to list the text views or the items which are declared in the food Viewholder. So there is food name text. And when you come back here and you see, I also declared it here, food name text. So I think I'm clear. Food name text. Dot set text, because it's a text view. Dot set text SR, which is the object name of the model class. Dot get food name. Remember the getters and setters which I talked about. So let us go back to the food menu. You'll see .get food name. So this is the food name, the method which was called get food name. It is called inside the food adapter. So let us also add for another one. We are going to say holder dot id text dot set text sr dot get the I'm not seeing the ID. Why? Let us go back to the food menu and we see if it is there. Oh, it's menu ID. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I didn't get that. Dot get menu ID. Let us also say holder dot food price dot set text sr dot get the price. So after doing that, we are already done with everything. Everything is now set. We have finished to set what is supposed to be here. We have finished to set what is supposed to be here, and we are done with this, meaning that this get menu ID is going to be holding some information. You can press Ctrl and you try to hover up here. When you click here, they'll take you here, and you see if this one stands to yellow, means that these methods are now being used. They are now usable, something like that. Okay, let us go back and we finalize with this last method, and it's the easiest one. We are just going to say item size dot size, and that's all. So this one is just going to count the number of items which are retrieved from the internet. Let me stop here for this lecture, And the next lecture, we are going to look on the power of the ion library and what is an ion library. Well, let us meet next time, please.